Previously on Days of Our Dice, a spectre from beyond the grave emerged in Drakestide Cove. Evander Pennington, once betrayed and murdered in a moonless grove, returned as Rook, a masked revenant serving the will of the Raven Queen herself. In the shadow-drenched halls of the company's tower, he revealed the harrowing tale of his demise at the hands of the Circle of the Whispering Shadow and their enigmatic leader, the sharp-dressed man, the same foe our heroes narrowly escaped in the marketplace. Jack Moonstrider, the weathered commander of Drakestide Cove's company branch, confirmed the disappearance of Pennington's former comrades, leaving the tower eerily vacant, save for those who rescued Jack from certain death. But most chilling of all was Rook's revelation that he carries a message from the Raven Queen herself, a prophecy meant for Malveth and the shadowy twins, Lyra and Kaelin. What destiny does the Mistress of Ravens foresee for her faithful servants? What shadows lengthen across Aethoria that require divine intervention? As betrayal hangs heavy in the air and alliances shift like sand, our heroes stand at the threshold of a mystery that may shake the very foundations of their world. The dawn having chased away the evening within the company's tower, the group's attention turns to an invitation that lay upon the weathered oak table. Its embossed lettering, a summons to Corvus Manor, caught the light like a whisper of danger. The air hung heavy with indecision. Who would venture into the lion's den, and who would stand guard over their sanctuary? The shadowy twins, Lyra and Kaelin, rose in unison, their movements as fluid as shadow.
A perimeter check is in order. In times like these, vigilance is our ally.
As the ancient door creaked open, admitting the chill of twilight, an unexpected visitor slipped through. A green bumblebee, its wings shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence, buzzed purposefully into the room. Only Jack Moonstrider's keen eyes tracked its flight, a flicker of recognition passing between man and insect. The bee alighted upon an old cabinet, hidden from the other's view. Jack's face remained impassive, but the weight of secrets hung about him like a cloak. The meeting concluded, plans set in motion. As Jack rose, smoothing his robes with a thoughtful furrow of his brow, the green bumblebee stirred. It took flight, spiraling towards him with intent, before disappearing beneath the brim of his wide wizard's hat. Jack ascended the stairs, his gait unhurried yet purposeful.
Nali, did you catch that? That bee. It vanished under Jack's hat. Something's afoot here, mark my words.
He's heading off alone. I'll shadow him and see what he's up to. If there are secrets to uncover, best we know them now.
Nali stood up and exited the tower, determined to follow Jack's ascent up the stairs from the outside of the tower. Suspicion, once planted, grew like a weed. Nali moved with feline grace, her form melding with the tower's deepening shadows. Outside, Lyra's gaze flickered briefly towards Nali's stealthy ascent, but she gave no sign, her focus returning to the world beyond their walls. Nali scaled the tower's rough stone face, her fingers finding purchase where others would falter. The bite of the early morning air grew sharper as she climbed, until at last she reached a narrow ledge. There she beheld Jack, standing alone atop the roof, the green bumblebee now resting upon his outstretched hand.
By all the gods!
Before Nali's disbelieving eyes, the bee began to change. Its form blurred, elongated, until it stood as tall as a man, a figure shrouded in a green cloak that seemed to devour the very light around it. Try as she might, Nali could not pierce the darkness that veiled the stranger's features. Jack's voice, low and urgent, carried on the morning air. Nali strained to catch every word, piecing together fragments of a conversation laden with portent.
Nothing of note from the two groups. The Githyanki, however, she had a vision of the betrayer, but it's unclear, and also of a woman, high in the order of the eclipsed hand's ranks.
The cloaked figure gestured in response, its movements fluid yet alien. Jack continued, his tone edged with growing concern.
The Circle of the Whispering Shadows made their move. They attacked Crothar, Nali and Little Horn in the market. No sign of the Black Dragon, save for the recent assault on Rittenheim. Our people thwarted that at least.
The figure's hooded head shook slowly and Jack's posture stiffened, his disbelief palpable.
That's not possible. The Black Dragon was in the Shadowfell. They couldn't be in two places at once, unless...
Jack sighed, the weight of uncertainty bowing his shoulders. His next words were barely a murmur, carried to Nali on a chill breeze.
Inform Arcalium of these developments, and let him know that I am sorry that I was indisposed for so long. Whoever is responsible for kidnapping my entire team thought it would be enjoyable to leave me to starve to death in the depths of my own tower. They left me with no way to call out magically, and I am lucky to be alive. Tell him that I am glad to hear that he has finally found and rescued his apprentice. There seems to be a theme of subterfuge and abduction in the city of Drakestide Cove. Finally, let Arcalium know that our fair city's very own queen, the Lady Cordelia Blackthorn, has entered the fray. We must hope she aligns with us, rather than the others. Her and her nobles would be a great boon to us for once.
The hooded figure leaned close, its movements ambiguous. A whisper, or perhaps something more. A kiss? Nali shifted, her curiosity overriding caution, straining to glimpse more of this clandestine exchange. Suddenly, the figure's head snapped towards her. For a heartbeat, Nali felt unseen eyes boring into her very soul. She ducked instinctively, pressing herself flat against the cold stone, her heart thundering in her chest. Had they seen her? The sound of retreating footsteps offered no answer. Jack's final words drifted on the morning air, heavy with resolve.
We await Arcalium's counsel, and we watch to see which way the Blackthorn Scion's allegiance falls.
The door closed with a dull thud, and silence reigned. Nali exhaled slowly, relief washing over her as she prepared to descend. But then, a sound. A faint buzzing, like a whisper on the wind, growing louder.
Oh, poor curious kitten. Did you really think your whisper-soft paws could tiptoe past my notice? Tsk, tisk. You should know that when a bee catches a cat skulking in the shadows, the sting is only the beginning.
Before Nali could react, a blinding flash erupted at her shoulder, crackling electricity tearing through her body. Her muscles seized, fingers losing their grip on the cold stone. She fell, the world blurring around her, time slowing to a crawl. Above, the green bumblebee hovered, its iridescent face seeming to twist into a malevolent grin. As the unforgiving ground rushed to meet her, Nali's thoughts flashed to those she held dear: Jelani, her beloved cousin; Bart, steady as the emerald tide runner itself; Valyria, with her quiet strength; a future stolen in an instant by a creature no larger than her thumb. Suspended between sky and earth, Nali confronted the fragility of her own mortality. The world spun wildly, darkness encroaching from all sides, a stark reminder that betrayal can come from the most unexpected quarters, and that even the mightiest can fall to the smallest of foes. And now let's pause for a brief moment. The dice are in motion, but before they land, let's take a quick detour to talk about how you can help keep the adventure alive.
Even the bravest adventurers need to rest. But while our heroes catch their breath, you can help keep their journey alive. Step beyond the story and join the adventure at daysofourdice.com, your portal to all things Days of Our Dice. Explore our treasure trove of exclusive merch, support the show on Ko-Fi or Patreon, and help forge the next chapter of this epic saga. Your support keeps the dice rolling, the fireballs flying, and the legends growing. So whether you grab a shirt, sip a Fireball blend coffee, or simply spread the word, know that you're part of the story. Now, let's get back to the adventure.
The briny tang of sea air enveloped Jelani and Wormrex as they descended the gangplank of the Emerald Tide Runner. Their boots resonated against weathered wood, a rhythmic counterpoint to the harbour's cacophony. Behind them, Bart stood ramrod straight, his crisp salute a farewell and a blessing, as his companions ventured into the labyrinth of the coastal city. The docks pulsed with life, a symphony of merchants' cries, creaking ship timbers, and the mournful calls of wheeling gulls. Yet for Jelani and Wormrex, the world narrowed to a singular path, their purpose as clear and unyielding as a lodestone. They carved through the city's arteries, winding cobblestone lanes and bustling market squares, their steps swift and determined. The familiar crest of the Order of the Aurelian Scales hung above a nondescript doorway. Wormrex whispered a secret word under his breath and the door unlocked and opened. He and Jelani walked in, the arcane door shutting and locking itself behind them. The two of them rushed into the next room filled with dust and empty crates, nothing out of the ordinary in the room save an old rug in the middle. Unremarkable except for the fact that it was the only space that didn't have clutter piled upon it. Wormrex pulled and cast the rug aside, and there before them lay a teleportation circle. Without words, the two gave each other a look of acknowledgement and a nod, stepping forward into the circle. The dark room melted into a blinding light filled with fractals of strange and overwhelming geometry, then utter blackness. Darkness long enough to make Jelani, his first time teleporting, believe that he may have died and his consciousness found itself in the great void. But as soon as he had the thought, the void gave way to the same brilliant light and melodic geometry once more. Then another room materialized before them, and in this room, they were not alone. Two armored guards, massive the size of Wormrex but covered in golden full-plate armor, their faces hidden behind helmets. Jelani could not begin to guess who or what was underneath so much metal. Yet these large figures moved with an unearthly speed, one leading them out of the room, while the second nudged Jelani to move forward from behind him. Wormrex seemed unfazed by the pageantry that gave off an air of potential violence should circumstances change or have been different. Now outside in some other part of the world, Jelani once again sees the crest of the Order of Aurelian Scales borne aloft by two wyvern riders. The great beasts shifted restlessly, their scales catching the light like living armor, while their riders stood motionless, a study in contrast.
Jelani Wormrex, the Order awaits your presence.
No further words were needed. With practiced ease, Jelani and Wormrex mounted behind the riders. The wyvern's muscles bunched beneath them, a coiled promise of power. Then, with a thunderous sweep of leathery wings, they were airborne, the city below shrinking to a patchwork of roofs and glittering sea. The wind's roar became their world as they soared over vast swathes of land. Beneath them, the realm unfurled like a living map. Patchwork fields, dark swathes of forest, and serpentine rivers glinting in the fading light. The wyverns' movements were poetry in motion, their shadows fleeting ghosts racing across the landscape. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of fire, their destination rose before them, the capital, a jewel set in the crown of the kingdom. Towering above all else stood the company headquarters, its alabaster spire catching the day's dying light, a beacon of power and mystery. The wyverns began their descent, circling the imposing tower in a display of deference before alighting within the heavily fortified courtyard of a sprawling castle complex. Armored guards snapped to attention, their polished helms reflecting the sunset's glow as Jelani and Wormrex dismounted.
It feels like lifetime since I last stood on this ground.
The stories pale in comparison to the reality. This is truly awe-inspiring.
Silent sentinels led them towards the great tower's base, their synchronized footfalls echoing through marbled halls. They passed chambers alive with whispered secrets and rooms where decisions that would shape the realm were made daily. With each step upward, the air grew heavier with portent. Their journey culminated before a door that seemed to breathe wealth and authority. Gold and silver filigree intertwined in patterns both beautiful and unsettling. As it swung open, they beheld a chamber that defied mortal imagination. Floor-to-ceiling shelves groaned under the weight of ancient tomes and arcane artifacts. Crystals hovered in mid-air, pulsing with otherworldly energies. At the room's heart stood a vast crystalline table, above which floated a seeing stone, a sphere of deep, pulsing blue that seemed to hold the very essence of magic within its depths. And there, behind this mystical orb, stood Valen Dareth.
Wormrex, my old friend. The years have been far too long between us.
Valen's gaze shifted, settling on Jelani with an intensity that seemed to pierce through flesh and bone.
And you must be Jelani. Welcome to our inner sanctum. I trust the journey wasn't too taxing on your constitution?
And so our tale hangs suspended, like a raven caught between heartbeats. In the capital city, destiny weaves its web through marble halls, while back in Drakestide Cove, shadows lengthen and secrets deepen. What message does the Raven Queen hold for her chosen? What games does the sharp-dressed man yet play? And what grand design lies behind Valen Dareth's knowing smile? The threads of fate pull tighter. Nali's fall from grace, Jack Moonstrider's clandestine meeting with the mysterious green-cloaked figure, and Jelani standing before the enigmatic leader of the Order of the Aurelian Scales. Each path converges toward a truth that may shatter the very foundations of Aethoria. For in a world where the dead walk again and ancient powers stir, nothing is as it seems. The company's tower stands as both sanctuary and prison, while loyalty and betrayal dance on the edge of a blade. Join us next time on Days of Our Dice, when whispers become screams, allies become adversaries, and the veil between worlds grows ever thinner. Brave adventurers, your journey through the realms of Aethoria has only just begun. The echoes of battle may fade, but the call to adventure rings eternal. Will you answer that call? Will you delve deeper into the mysteries that await, unravel the secrets of the Drakestide Coast, and face the darkness that threatens to consume all? The choice is yours, hero. Don't miss a single moment of this epic saga. Like this video to fuel the fires of adventure, and subscribe to our channel to ensure your place among the legends of Aethoria. Hit that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop. Until next time, may your critical hits be many and your fumbles few.